Hi there, kids. Stevie Coyle here, webbing in from bucolic Lafayette, California. Mighty Fine Guitars is the name of the shop, and why yes. I'm flying solo today. Miss Valerie is not here, so I'll be taking your comments and questions on the mighty iPad, which I still think is a funny name for any sort of device. Tee-hee-hee. Oh, there's somebody. Let me see who you are, because I can't read from over here. I can't read from over there, but I've got the big print version here on my Etch-a-Sketch. Let's see who it is. And do let me know where you're webbing in from. I always am curious about that. It's kind of like postcards from out there. Well, there we go. Right. Hi, Russell Paris. How are you? Hey, Russ and Julie. The Russ and Julie. Yes, that's right. It's the Russ and Julie. Mary's Mary Flower. Hey, Mary. Great. And two other people. Howdy. Who are they? Dan Payne, John Kressich. Excellent. You know, today I really don't have any sort of plans at all. I'd love to play for you anything you'd like to see in the shop, so if you've got a moment, if you've got a little room to spare on your browser there, pop over to mightyfineguitars.com and take a look at the stuff that's in stock there. Do you want to see some Martins? Do you want to see some Triple O's, some OMs, some little teeny guitars, some big-ass guitars? Whatever you like, it's all up for grabs today. So, make a tiny adjustment here to that. Yeah. Somehow I ended up with gray hair, and it really lights up on the picture. It's a great mystery to me as well. All right. Kent Washington. Thank you, Dan Payne. Drew Freeman. Hey, Drew. Nice to see you, man. Sending you very good vibes. All the best vibes to Drew Freeman. Please, folks, send him a brainwave. Some health stuff going on. He could use your vibes, so send him his way. And a great guitarist as well. Peter Martin Homer is watching. Very good. Fiddler's Crossing is watching. Hi, Peter. Peter Cutler. Great venue in Tehachapi. If you don't know it, you'll be hearing of it soon, because Glenn Houston and I, the Ostensible Quitters, will be doing a takeover of the Fiddler's Crossing page. We had a gig scheduled there for later on in the summer, and because of the COVID stuff, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing a takeover, as the young people call it, from Glenn's backyard, and that should be pretty much fun. And we'll be sending it out through, of course, our own pages, our various pages, but primarily through the Fiddler's Crossing Facebook page. And Peter and I have a meeting to discuss all the technicalities about that later on this afternoon. Eric Apgar? Why, yes, only by coincidence. Eric does the song that I wrote, mentioned Tehachapi. That's before I'd ever played there. I just love the sound of the words. Very musical name. Victoria Day, Dr. Day, how are you? Nice to see you. Miss Nancy here, and I see Victoria, and I see Peter, and Fader, and Arden. Hey. Yeah, Quitters Takeover. Right. That's going to be fun. We're going to be doing that a bunch. That's kind of the way it's done these days. I did one of those for Peghead Nation. We did a little online workshop, and it worked out pretty good. It really did. They just surrender their credentials to you for a little while, and then they go and change them if they're smart. And then you take over their page and webcast from wherever you are onto their Facebook page or YouTube channel or Patreon page or wherever it is. It works out really good. It's not the same as being in the same room at the same time, but that doesn't seem like it's in the offing anytime particularly soon. Excuse me just a moment. Let me grab a little sip of water all by itself. Please continue the discussion amongst yourselves. Glug, 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 glug. Dee-lee-dee-dee-dee, glug, glug, glug. Da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. There we are. Back to your comments and questions, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Charlie. Nice to see you. Charlie's a repeat offender. Thanks for stopping in again. Rob Eaton is watching. Bob Oswald is watching. Mary Flower can hear loud and clear. Right on, Mary. Excellent. This is just a little Raspberry microphone going directly into the phone, not going through eCam or any of that stuff. So a slightly different webcasting technique employed here. David Martin, hey there. I see you, David. Fellow Lafayettan and supporter of the Town Hall Theater. Great musician. Comments, questions? You know, I wanted to jump on today, not because I have anything particular I wanted to show you. I'm up for showing you absolutely anything that I've got in the shop here. But what would you think of having a kind of an online Zoom session that's just kind of a workshop? It'd be a paid thing. There'd be a few dollars exchanged for this. But it'd be a Zoom room limited to X number of people for X number of dollars for X amount of time. And we'd talk about whatever you want. I could show a few techniques here and there, a little bit of theory, some caged system perhaps, if you've perhaps not gotten up the neck yet and wanted a way to a toe hold into moving up the neck, and what's going on up there in the mystery zones past the 5th fret. Although you know what lots of people say is there's no money past the 5th fret anyway. I have not found that to be the case. There's a few random doubloons up there to pick up above the 7th fret. So let me know what you think about the idea of a workshop, because I'm seriously thinking of putting one on here sometime soon. Not imminent, but sometime soon. Hey, Mark Moreland, there you are. A Gibson L-1 behind me on the wall? It is. It is a Gibson L-1 from 1930. I'll have to look at the tag. 34. It's been so long since I've been in my own shop, I've kind of forgotten some of the numbers. But yes, that is a Gibson L-1 from 1930. Oh, and I took the tag off. Clever me. Yeah, 37, I think. No. What am I saying? No. This is 1919. This is the 1919 with this particular shading on the top. See how that goes? My light isn't really kind of shining down on the guitars, is it? 2 seconds. That might be a little bit better. Here it is, a 1919 Gibson L-1 with that enormous cello-style bridge. And there's always room for cello. With an enormous baseball bat neck, big V-neck. It's a little slice of history. New tuners, the original tuners all crumbled up and went away. These are replacement tuners. But I think just about everything else is the way it was in 1919. The unfancy trapeze-style tailpiece. If there ever was a pickguard, and I don't think there was on these. No, this is not a pickguard model. The binding is all original and in really good shape on the neck. That's a real weapon you got there, boy. That's something you could grab onto and clonk a bad guy in a bar if you needed to. Can't really palm mute the way I'm accustomed to, that's for sure. Have you met Lydia? Lydia the tattooed lady. She has eyes that men adore so, and a torso even more so. Lydia, oh Lydia, that encyclopedia. Lydia the queen of tattoo. On her back is the Battle of Waterloo. beside it the wreck of the Hesperus too, and proudly above waves the red, white, and blue. Can learn a lot from Lydia. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. That's a great song, but you know, best I can tell, there's only one word that rhymes with Lydia, which is why you don't hear any rhymes for Lydia in there, except Lydia, oh Lydia, Lydier. And the rhyme for it is a venereal disease. So, understandable. Sometimes you get a little sideways insight into why songs were in the way they were. But yes, indeed, an L1 from 1919. Good call. Let me get back to your comments and questions. Tim Briggs is watching. Sean Mann is watching. Hey there. Rob Thompson is watching. Sue Ellen Carlisle. Ann Hexton O'Shea. Excellent. Kimberly Redinger. Veit. Hi, Kathy Kramer. Hey there. Go Broncos. Excellent. Try rebooting Charlie. It's fine for me. Oh, try rebooting, comma, Charlie. Sometimes punctuation. Sister Godzilla Maria is sitting on my shoulders. Punctuation is the problem here. Rebooting Charlie. I'm not sure how that's done. I've wanted a couple of reboots myself. Little time lag between sound and motion. Yeah, that's probably somewhere between here and you, Charlie. I wish that could be solved, but I don't think that's happening from here. Somewhere between here and there. Miles and miles. It's just kind of hilarious. You know, sometimes Valerie and I text each other from inside the house, or she's out in the yard, and I think, I wonder how many miles of copper wire and miles of broadcasted microwaves it took for us to communicate 25 yards. General Mighty Fine Guitars questions. What is the oldest instrument you currently have in the shop? The most unusual or unique instrument in the shop, and what's currently your favorite guitar in the shop to play right now? 3 questions. I think this might be the oldest guitar I have in the shop right now. I'm pretty sure it is, actually, 1919. Yeah, for a while there I had an 1870s French guitar, and it was remarkable. It was in fantastic shape, and it went like that. I think this Gibson I just played for you is the oldest one in the shop, 1919. Looking around, looking around. Unusual guitar? Well, 2 seconds. What did I do with it? There it is. Pardon me. Back in a flash. Oh no, that's not it. Where is it? It's here. Check this baby out. This is by a gentleman named Frank Truncale, a local lad here in the Bay Area. He's doing something completely different here. Most guitars, as I'm sure a lot of you know, but this is the geek hour, so we can geek out. A lot of steel string flat top guitars have an X brace, essentially an X brace with a couple of minor braces that hold the top, keep the top from exploding when string pressure is put on and starts pulling the top up. This gentleman did a whole bunch of science. In fact, he comes into the shop every once in a while with his cell phone. There's some sort of app on there that he holds up to the guitars, and he taps them very softly with the pad of his finger. And he records the tap tones. He's a complete scientist. I remember years ago I had a little convention here in the back, the Northern California Association of Luthiers, which I cannot pronounce without hurting my throat. They were all here for a little meeting on a Sunday, and some of the guys showed their guitars and said, well, you know, I take a block of wood and I carve away everything that doesn't look like a guitar, and that's how I build. A lot of guys were like that, and the other guys were complete scientists, talking about the dipole and the tripole and the Chladni patterns and all that kind of stuff. Frank was of the latter persuasion. But the proof's in the pudding. He's got some really cool stuff going on. This guitar, the bracing inside is not X-braced. He has parabolic braces going on here that loop around like this, sort of like that. And there's another one here that loops around like that. There's another one, and they all loop through this wingless bridge. Probably noticed that right away, that little wingless bridge. They all loop around that way. This one has 7 of those braces bracing this lower bout. And it's a totally cool guitar. It's totally fun to play. And loud for a little guy. Jeepers crow. about that? It just roars, and it's this big. It's about the size of an O. In Martin lingo, this would be kind of O-ish. Astonishing guitar with lots of cool inlays. He's got a thing, his motif is the eye. I don't know if he's, one of those Rosicrucians or what, but there's lots of eye motif going on here. This is kind of a cool feature too. Richard Thompson has used one of these over the years. It's a little armrest to keep your arm up off the top of the guitar. Since the top of the guitar is essentially your speaker, a lot of people think, oh, the sound comes out of the sound hole. Yeah, some sound comes out of the sound hole. Most of the sound, most of the projection, the volume of the guitar comes off the top. The top is like a speaker. And you've got your bridge in the middle of the speaker, activating the speaker, and most of the sound comes off the top. So if you have your arm down on the top, you're constraining the vibration, the vertical in this axis, vibration of the top. So the idea is to keep your arm up off the top. Frank has provided a little armrest here that if you'd rather not have it on there, you don't have to have it on there. It's magnetic. Isn't that cool? A little rosewood, it kind of makes a snappy noise when it goes back on here. There we go. Brazilian rosewood body, Sitka spruce top, bear claw Sitka. I hope you can see that in the light here. I'll kind of turn it slowly so you can see the bear claw. It looks like a bear clawed it. And mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard. Totally fun to play. Sorry, I got distracted there. I entered a zone. This is one of the more unusual guitars in the shop. Do I have a favorite in the shop? Do you know what, Arden? I don't think I do. I love lots of them for various reasons. Hard to know what's a favorite. In terms of the oldie ones, 1919 is pretty old. I have another vintage Martin over here. Pardon me, excuse me. Coming through, having a baby, excuse me, coming through. It's a 1949 Martin, 0021, with a nice fresh neck reset. It's lovely. There's something about Martin, you know. I don't have to have a Martin, but boy, older Martins in particular, the ones before the 70s, sorry man if you've got a 70s Martin, that was not there, and there are. 70s was not the golden era for Martins. 1949, we're more in the pocket here. Now this is a 21, which means it's got rosewood back and sides, very little ornamentation, none of the cool kind of herringbone binding or any of the purfling, any of that stuff. And it's got the, this is a 14 fret guitar with 1 11/16 across the nut here. So it's a narrow nut. And really maximized for volume. And it does that thing that Martins do in the mid-range. They've got this, you guitar players that know Martins perhaps know what I'm talking about better than I do. There's something about the mid-range that's really compelling. Kind of the upper mid-range, it's got this kind of thickness to it, and beef, it's beefy. since they've been tuned, too. So not really a fave. I look around here, there's 50, 60 plus guitars that are all moderately fabulous in their own ways. And I'm getting behind on your comments and questions here. Sorry, kids. Oh, very good, Charlie. It's good. You just reloaded and things fixed themselves. Great. That's good to know. That's good market research. Appreciate that. Hey, Henry Watts. How are you, man? This is fun. Todd Hallowell is watching. My goodness, folks, when you're done with this recording, run right over and hunt up some Todd Hallowell. Fantastic fingerpicker. Saw him recently after years and years. Hadn't seen him since he played here at the shop. Or maybe it was at my house. No, it would have been here at the shop years ago. Saw him recently in Kansas at the big festival there, the Winfield Festival. Joey Fabian is watching. Great bass player. Excellent. Richard Montoya likes a wide fingerboard, as I recall. And Richard, if you're looking for something with wide fingerboards, I got something for you. Mike Nupper, hey there. Mike Nupper, you got a job, man. Fantastic. This is great news. Good for you. Keep you busy and out of the house. Getting some crunchy in the audio feed. Very good. I can turn it down just a little bit. And you know, some of that crunch might be the air conditioner, which is still on. Give me 2 seconds to kill that. I guess, golly, we're kind of on a tiny theme here. Here's a little old Martin. This one is from the 30s. It's 37 or 34. 1938. How about that? 1938 Martin. It started off life as a Hawaiian guitar. This is an O-17. It's an O body, so it's many sizes down from. This is the last standard size. Anything smaller than this is technically considered a parlor guitar, although some people consider parlor guitars anything smaller than a dreadnought. Not so. This is an O body. It started off life as a Hawaiian guitar with no frets, well, with frets, but really high bridges, and played strictly on the lap, played lap style. And very shortly after that, the owner had it converted at the Martin factory into what they call Spanish style, sort of standard play. I love little guitars. I'm 6'3" plus, but I love the feel of having the guitar in close to me. My elbow isn't up in the air like this. The guitar isn't up under my chin. I like it sitting down. It's more polite down here. Just fits me better. And everything original on this, you know, aside from the fact it had the conversion done in the 40s. fairly playable. All mahogany. 17 means all mahogany back and sides, and top as well. This is a real peach. The bridge may have been reset on this. I think it's the original bridge, but it looks like it's been off rather, and then back on, which is fine. Sometimes they need a little help like that. And this is a lovely little thing. The asking on this is $3,500. But I bet there's a little turkey to be talked in there with the owner of this guitar. Back to your comments and questions. Let's see here. Get back to those. Jim Haverkamp. Hey, Jim, how are you? Overdriving the microphone a little bit? Good, I'll come down even more. This is good to know. Thank you. How about that? Guy, good to see you. Johnston. How's that? A little less crunchy? Is it good? So this is a little tour around the Martins. I'll show you one more. Now that, as I ponder Arden's question about what my favorite guitar in the shop is, this is again not a favorite, but it's not the favorite, but it's a favorite. If I can be very Jesuitical that way. This is a Lowden guitar. And I think I might have featured this on the program a week or two ago. But lovely, lovely thing. Mahogany back and sides, built in Ireland. This is an Irish-made guitar. Cedar top, which has, for finger stylers, has a really particular sort of sound. It's a big guitar, kind of like that. These poor things have been so neglected for weeks on end, have had no tuning, no playing. Big sound and really articulate, but very different from Martin. It doesn't have that real sparkly, punchy, crackly, sort of sprucey sound off the top. A little bit more reserved. If you can picture sound coming off the top of a guitar quickly or slowly, this one comes off the top a little bit more slowly. It's a little bit more reserved in that respect. That doesn't mean you can't dig in and get some good crackly tones out of it. Using breakfast cereal analogies can be dangerous. this one is an S7, I believe. Yes, it is. An S7 cutaway. So you get up to the meedly notes way up high. I don't know, man. Man alive, what a beast. I used to have a Lowden myself years ago. And I would have kept it, except that I found that with a cedar top, it didn't travel particularly well. It was not a great touring guitar. The first gig I took it on with the Waybacks years and years ago in Nova Scotia, we played way out at on the tip of Nova Scotia, way out east there, at a festival called the Stan Rogers Folk Festival in Canso, Nova Scotia. And Thursday afternoon when we got there, it was sunny, it was 70 degrees, it was gorgeous, and by Sunday afternoon, it was sleeting sideways. And so that change in temperature and humidity really went crazy on the guitar, and I just could not keep it in tune. I had to borrow a guitar for most of the rest of that festival just because it was such a nightmare trying to keep that bad boy in tune on stage. I'd have to measure it, but I think this has got a narrow fingerboard as well. I think this is 1 11/16 instead of 1 3/4. If it is, it's on the shy side of 1 3/4. A special order, maybe. But it feels a bit narrow. Back to your comments and questions. Sorry. I get so carried away. Hey, Mike Tatarakis, nice to see you. David Harland. Type of strings? No, regular phosphor bronze strings. Laura's watching, Tim is watching. And there you go. You know what? I've got, now that I check out the time here, I'm going to have to toddle along here momentarily. I've got a guy coming in that wants to play some guitars, and this is how it's done. People don't come in to play guitars. I take guitars out to them. There's a picnic table right outside here. And I take them guitars to play, and bring them back in and hang them up and keep a stack of, keep one section of the wall dedicated to guitars that have just been played. And then those guitars sit for 3 days before anybody else can play them, including me. And that's how we're doing shopping here at Mighty Fine Guitars. It works. It's beautiful outside today. It's 80 degrees out there. You sit under the trees. It's quiet. You can hear guitars. Excuse me. And I just sort of make my way in and out with guitars, until something sticks. And if the person really wants to take something home over, for a day or 2 or 3 or 4, we work that out, put a little deposit down, or if it's somebody I know, you just, pack it up and take it. And then if you love it, send me a check. If you don't, bring the guitar back, leave it in the parking lot. We do this whole drug deal thing in the parking lot where they'll leave the guitar in the middle of the lot, and I'll scuttle out from the shadows and pick it up in gloves and take it inside and stick it in the 3-day section and let the microbes expire that way. So one way and another, it all works. I'm giving guitar lessons as well. If you'd like to take guitar lessons, even beginners, I especially like beginners. Beginners make bigger jumps than more advanced folks, and greedily, selfishly, I like being around for those. So if you're thinking of spending this downtime with COVID cases increasing daily, this is a great time to be indoors, not doing anything, except playing guitar maybe, catching up with some of those old New Year's resolutions from decades ago. Learn to play guitar. And let me get you started. I give lessons online on Zoom or Skype. Zoom is more popular nowadays, but I went back to Skype, and the sound is tons better on Skype. So for group meetings and stuff, I think Zoom is great. But for one way or the other, we'll do Zoom or we'll do Skype, and we can get you started. Hours are $85. Half hours are $45. And the best thing, I think, the thing that increases the value of that immensely is that at the end of the lesson, one way or the other, I'll do a little 3, 4, 5-minute video of all the stuff we went over in your lesson so you have something to work with until the next time we work, which could be next week. Some people like a really regular schedule. Some people do every 2 weeks. Some people do once a month. Some people say, that's plenty. One lesson is great. Let me work on that. I'll call you when it's time to do another one. But any of those scenarii are just fine by me. Just getting you playing guitar is what it's all about, and this is a great time to do that. And there might be a guitar lurking under the bed or in the closet that has been making tiny screaming noises. Play me. For the longest time, this would be a great time to do that, and I'd love to help you out. Beginners, raw rank beginners, just fine. I'm totally happy to work with those. Through most levels I can teach, kind of up to advanced intermediate in most things. Fingerstyle is really a specialty. Hit me up for that if you're a fingerstyler or an incipient fingerstyler. By all means, I'm your guy. Give a shout if I can be of service. What else can I tell you? The MightyFunGuitars.com is open for business. Somebody bought a guitar right off the website yesterday, and I'm going to pack that up and ship it out momentarily. So guitars are available, and new stuff is going up all the time. New stuff. My webmaster went off to college, the rotter, and so I'm doing it myself. It's a little slower than it used to be, but bit by bit all the bits are getting up there. Let me check and see, make sure I'm not leaving out any essential last minute questions. I think we're okay. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for showing us the Truncale. The Truncale is a totally cool guitar. There's another one in here too that's that has only 5 instead of 7 parabolic braces. Total scientist and a very interesting cat. Hey Lynette. Hey Jimbo. How are yous? Well, I'll play a little tiny tune and then toddle along. And thanks for tuning in once again to the Friday noontime, well, it used to be noontime, webcast. But we're trying to make way for Governor Gavin Newsom to do his thing at noon. And folks can tune in shortly after that. This is 111/16 for sure. Just have my hand away from it and going back to it. Narrower fingerboard than is customary on Lowden's. Every year is the same, and I feel it again. I'm a loser, no chance to win. Leaves start falling, come down is calling. Loneliness starts sinking in. But I'm one. I am one. And I can see that this is me. In chord and chord, I don't know, you all see I'm the one. Yeah, baby. How does it go here? I'm as surprised as anybody. like that. And now everybody's favorite part of the show, the awkward grope towards the camera to turn it off. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stevie Coyle signing off from Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California. MightyFineGuitars.com if you like. Push, what do I push, that one?